voices cut the silence. Truth ain't taking pauses. We the people Wednesday. Speak loud, speak clear. Screech owls calling. Red's got your ear.
We the People Wednesday will begin in just a few short minutes, folks. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you still have time to jump over to the VIP Backstage Lounge at ripinrabbithole.com. If you are listening on demand, go ahead and fast forward to about the 3-minute mark and you will jump into tonight's live show. Stay tuned, folks. Show starts soon.
Late night highway, headlights chasing dreams. The rip on rabbit hole ain't as crazy as it seems. Ain't no polished lines, just hearts and fire. We the people Wednesday. Speak loud, speak clear. Screech owls calling. Red's got your ear.
Rip'n Rabbit Hole is a community-driven radio. At times the community comments may reveal prejudices and other beliefs that we or our sponsors do not condone. Views or opinions expressed by the community, callers, or guests, are those of the individual speaking and do not represent the views or opinions of this site. Rip'n Common Sense content is intended for mature audiences only. Enjoy.
Late night highway, headlights chasing dreams. The rip on rabbit hole ain't as crazy as it seems. Ain't no polished lines, just hearts and fire. We the people Wednesday, shout what's real. Screech owls watching. Red's got the wheel. Lives wave in the static air. Freedom's crackling everywhere.
Good evening and welcome to We the People Wednesday. It is Wednesday, August 19th, 2026. I am Street Joel Scott,
And I am Red.
and we want to thank you, our co-hosts, for joining us right here on Rip'n Common Sense Radio, where your voice will be heard around the world as we discuss hot topics, recent news, and new developments. Dialed up We the People Wednesday. Congratulations. You can now declare yourself one of the We the People people. If you're listening on Rumble or over on YouTube, please give We the People a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that you will receive notifications each and every time we go live. If you want to join the We the People conversation, hop on over to ripinrabbithole.com. Click on the 24/7 tab in the taskbar. Scroll down until you see the backstage. Click on that big red Enter Now button. Allow the permissives and join the fun. Backstage Lounge is free and always will be. It's a great place to meet new friends and talk about anything that you want to. And we can speak from experience when we say that you will often find We the People deep into the early AM hours. That is ripinrabbithole.com. RIPONRABBITHOLE.com. We have just a few very simple rules. Please remain respectful to others at all times. And raise your hand when you have something that you'd like to add to the conversation. But most of all, have fun because this is a show for We the People. And Red, I think that you probably put the link in the chats.
Yes, I did.
On Rumble and YouTube. If you want to
both of them.
come on over and join the conversation, click on that link. It'll bring you right in. I can tell you that on Rumble, especially tonight, we have a pretty good delay going on. So
big delay.
if you add something in Rumble in the chat, we do keep an eye on it, but it may be a while before you hear us address your
Question.
or comment. Yes, thank you, Red. Well, Red,
What are you laughing about?
I don't know.
We got new headsets,
I'm tongue-tied.
so it's,
That's right. We
try to get used to them.
We've added some new equipment to maybe make things a little better on our end, and hopefully it'll relay on
Translate over. Yep.
to the other end. We do have some headsets now that are different than what we had before.
Yeah, and it's hard to hear each other.
I see your lips moving, but nothing's coming out, Red.
Exactly. That's
So
what I mean.
I don't know. So, well, Red, we made it through another weekend, another week.
Somehow.
Time sure is flying by. We're already
It,
almost the end of August.
I know. I cannot believe that it's almost September already. I mean,
I know
yeah, we still have, what, 2 weeks left, but
and our red roses finally started flowering like in the
yes,
last 4 or 5 days. I
a
thought
little late this year.
maybe that rose bush had died, but I saw a little bit of growth on it, and
Yep.
all of a sudden we have 3 red roses on it.
Little
Uh,
bitty buds,
and we're approaching September.
which is odd.
Won't be long, and we'll be talking about putting our furnace on, Red.
Oh, don't say that.
And
I
I
don't like it when it's like really hot outside, but I don't want this freezing weather
no,
again either.
I'm not ready for winter, and it seems like the year just flew by to me. It just I don't know. The older I get, the quicker time flies for me.
Absolutely. And I was just on TikTok because um some of the people know that I do jewelry, and I was on somebody else's live chatting with them, and one of the customers is living in Hawaii. She used to live in Texas, and she's now in Hawaii. And I tell you, listening to her talk about Hawaii just a little bit ago, right before coming on air, it's like, wow. You know,
Wow, in what way?
well, she was talking about there's not humidity down there,
Oh no, it's beautiful.
and
It's like a constant 80
yeah,
degrees year round,
yep,
and you've not been lucky enough.
no,
Maybe someday I'll take you there, Red.
I don't know.
But
I wouldn't mind going there, but
Hawaii's beautiful. I really enjoyed my time in Hawaii. Well,
but
you can't beat the weather,
no.
that's for sure.
But apparently
A little expensive though.
there was some sort of storm or
Well,
something that went through.
the other day they were having at sea level they were having a hurricane, and up in the mountains they were having 150-mile-an-hour winds and
Hmm.
snow
Oh yeah,
up in the
that's
mountains.
right.
I remember I read that to you the other day. So what's wrong, Red?
They're not working.
They're not working?
No, I lost you.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, no, it's not okay, Red. You have to be able to hear.
Oop. Just keep going. Keep going.
All right. Well, Red, I want to welcome Catherine B., Cowboy, Jenny, Wetzel, Rippin' Rabbit Hole, and the anniversary couple. I don't know if they're both there, but the People's Governor, Tim and Caroline Rampton, celebrating a wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
I don't know how many years it's been. I would have put it in the post that I made today, but I wasn't sure, and I figured if I asked them, it would have tipped it off that I was going to post something.
Right.
So, happy anniversary, Tim and Carol Ann.
The people's governor and the people's first lady.
Several years of wedded bliss, and they're as happy today. I'm sure as at least that's what I see. I see a very happy couple. I see them smiling and laughing and holding hands.
I
And,
was just gonna say they're
uh,
still holding hands. Hell, you still don't even hold my hand anymore. What does that tell you?
uh,
That you're annoyed with me?
no, never annoyed with you. So,
I'm
folks,
just kidding.
we have kind of an open format tonight. If there's something that anybody in the backstage wants to talk about, there's a couple things that we put down.
48. 48 years.
48
Wow.
years. Wow.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. That's
2 more years and we're going to have to throw him a surprise party. Well, forget that. But then again, Tim's got a great memory.
Well, that might be something that their children will want to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not young enough to classify me as one of Tim and Carol Ann's children.
But you're part of the family, and you will be invited.
Okay, awesome.
I love that.
So again, happy anniversary, Tim and Carol Ann. Anyway, as I was saying, we've got kind of an open format tonight because we weren't sure what to talk about.
There's just so much
many
going
things.
on. How do you pick one?
If there's any one thing that somebody wants to talk about that you learned about, that something that's bothering you and you need to get it off your chest, and raise your
Or if
hand
you
and say it.
just saw something like the bikers going from Sturgis to Dearborn, Michigan, which I
And
watched a few different lives.
we did watch some lives
Yep.
yesterday, Red.
And then AJ turned me on to the police scanner
and
from there. So
there,
that was pretty interesting too.
now I read today that there were 22 arrests made in Dearborn yesterday. I don't know if that number changed. That was the last number that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of shouting between groups of people, but it was really hard to discern which groups were who
Right.
in that.
Right. And
It was
I seen some
really
people
difficult
with
for me.
masks, and it's like, okay, so are they going to be instigators like you seen on J6,
And
or
it was interesting
I didn't
because
know.
while you were listening to the scanner, I was watching some of the Dearborn City Council had their meeting last night,
Mm-hmm.
and I was watching some of that, and of course there were some people who got up and were really just going after the Muslim community.
Right.
But then there were an equal number of people who stood up at that podium and were talking about how Dearborn they welcome everybody, and
But
you know and
there's one thing that I kind of, and I don't know, maybe it's just my tin hat. I don't know. But when I was watching some of that, it almost looked like it was staged, like it was fake, because I haven't seen any city council meetings where these people were able to get up and speak the way that they did. And then, number one, you had the rest of the people clapping, which I have never seen because they would remove you. Um, but yeah, the way
but
that they were speaking,
but
a lot of them would get removed.
but maybe they were more tolerant of it, Red, because they knew that all eyes were going to be on Dearborn. We heard about the number of
I don't know.
bikers. Well, I don't know either.
That's why I
I'm just
said
saying
it just looked
it
weird.
could be what you're saying, but it also could be that they said let's just let people talk because all eyes are on Dearborn tonight.
Well, I
And
mean, some of them were swearing, which usually the swearing part is like, nope, they kind of flag you type thing. If you speak like that, you're going to be removed. And then when they were done talking, the people that were against whatever that person was talking about would turn around and flip them off, and you know, they would swear. It just looked staged, but it may not have been.
and
I don't know.
it may have been your tin hat.
It could have been.
Uh, and while that was happening in Dearborn, this was Monday night here in Manitowoc. We
Yes.
had a gentleman who started a petition just a week ago, like a few days before the city council meeting,
Yep.
because he learned that in Manitowoc County there are 30 flock cameras.
Yep. 30
Uh,
plus.
there
Yeah.
are I believe 18 of them in Manitowoc and
Mhm.
12 of them in Two Rivers.
Mhm.
And he started a petition. He collected
Well, the last I seen it was almost 900 signatures,
well
and his goal was 1,000.
when he spoke, he did speak at city council because I
Yep.
saw the video today.
And I was
And
looking for it, and I
and
haven't
he
seen it yet.
said 844 names were on the
Okay.
final tally on the petition to do away with the flock cameras. And what he suggested was that uh, in many communities it's law enforcement who purchases and does the agreements with the flock camera companies. And
Mhm.
in Manitowoc, our Mayor Nichols knew about it
Okay.
and signed off on it. And the gentleman who started the petition said, this was all done basically without any public input. They just agreed to do it, and again, they can be used for good, but
Well,
we just
I posted something about it on Facebook, and my cousin, which is retired Air Force, and he lives down in Georgia, he said that the only, and mind you, he's a Wisconsin native. He grew up in Ashland. Um, but he said the only place that you should have to have these flock cameras is by schools. And I honestly, I like that idea. Have them by the schools. That way it can protect the children.
it,
Just
it,
just a thought.
and we just had
Maybe a playground if there's like a park.
we just
I
had
don't know.
there was another officer from Menasha who was just sentenced. He reached a plea agreement because he was using it for nefarious reasons to track somebody outside of law enforcement. And that's the thing that I find concerning about them.
Hmm. And we have a comment in the backstage about Mayor Nichols that says he needs to try adulting someday. I would have to agree because, what was it, 2 years ago, we seen some very unfavorable videos that he
And
posted
they
or his wife posted
they
on TikTok, and it
they
was disgusting.
they may have to resurface when Mayor Nichols is up for
Oh, they will. They
reelection
will, because
because
they may have deleted it, but what they don't realize is people can download those kinds of things before they delete them. They're always going to be out there somewhere, and
and
we're not dumb. We downloaded them.
so we do have access, and the community need to know when those things are happening. But that'll be for another day, Red, when we have a mayor's race in town here.
Yep, and Christine says, notice how they keep creeping in on taking away our privacy? Absolutely. Speaking of privacy, um, sort of, it kind of goes to it. We watched a documentary last night.
Oh my gosh, you came at the advice of
Mr. Harry
Harry
Waite.
Waite.
Yep.
The name of the documentary is Code X 911.
CODEX
911.
911.
And folks,
Oh,
it's
wow.
available on YouTube, and it's lengthy. It's like 2 and 3/4 hours long.
We were thinking about
Uh,
maybe playing it back here some night.
so if anybody ever has an interest in watching it, we'll do it on an off night or an afternoon,
Hmm.
and we'll play it. It's very very interesting. And
Most of it we already knew, but there was a lot we didn't know
no, I
yet.
I learned a lot more about it.
Yes. But
And
when I said taking away the privacy part, it goes back to the Patriot Act.
exactly, and the
And
Patriot
what
Act was talked about in
back then
uh,
I kept saying, what difference does it make? I ain't got nothing to worry about because if you follow the law, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I'm learning about things now and I think about what I said then and I'm like, I was one of those idiots that said, that's okay, just follow the law. You don't have to worry.
and it's interesting, Red, the fact that we watched Codex 911, and you and I and many of the people in the backstage are very familiar with the things that were shown in that documentary. But
Yes.
they took it a step further, and
Yes.
I learned a lot more
Mm-hmm.
than what I already learned. But when if you go out in the street and you ask someone about 9/11, many people are still of the belief that 10 Muslims who could barely fly a Cessna,
Yep.
you know,
But remember our taxi
piloted
driver
these.
that night here in Manitowoc did though.
Well,
They
hopefully
were
we
they
didn't.
were talking about it being
Drones
drones.
that were painted like
Mm-hmm.
airliners.
Yep, replicas.
Uh, Very interesting documentary, and if anybody has an interest in watching it in the backstage, please let us know, and we will pick a date and play it back here, and we can have a lengthy
Oh
discussion
yeah.
afterward because there's really too much to talk about.
I agree, Corey. Look at how far we've come since the days that we've learned about all the corruption over the last, well, for us, it was the last 7 years.
I was referring to, I was driving, so I had to pull over to text it.
Oh,
But I was referring to, look how far we've come. We used to think it was okay to say, I have nothing to worry about, just follow the law, right?
yep, yep,
How far have we
exactly.
come? We know now we would never say that. The Patriot Act, we may have supported it. We know now what they've done with the Patriot Act. We've come a long way. Think
Yep,
about the people that do that then, and we weren't paying attention. So
exactly.
Jerry Hicks talked about the Patriot Acts a lot. He was really opened my eyes to it. So
Right,
And
anyway,
and and we
my
all thought
comment.
you're right, Corey, and we all thought it was a good thing back then. We thought we were protecting ourselves
right.
by allowing that to go through, and boy, little did we know. Uh,
Drive careful.
and thank you for pulling over, Corey, if you actually did.
Well, I pulled over to text, but now I'm driving.
Okay, that works. But yet, I mean, you see well, if you're protecting people, then, like the flock cameras. If it, the flock cameras issue would have came up for us 10 years ago, I would have been like, "Yeah, great. That's a great way to track robbers or people that kidnap children or, whatever the crime may be. However, we've learned a lot over those years, and I'm like, no. You
Right.
know, we used to find these people, murderers and robbers and kidnappers and stuff like that,
And
the
clearly,
old-fashioned way.
if someone steals our car and they used it to recover our car, I would be grateful for that. But the fact that it can be used for nefarious reasons. Well, I do see we have a hand raised. It's Corey B. Go ahead, Corey. You have the floor.
Hello. I've
Hello.
had a couple of the state's cocktails, so I'm all chatty now.
Oh boy.
But going back to the flock cameras, like you were just talking about, I missed the beginning of the show, but anyway, onto the flock cameras. The I'd like to see, and I'd like to know, when is somebody going to ask for the flock camera data on 9/10/2025? Where is the flock data camera to show us where all these cars were going?
That's a
How come they're
great
not talking
question.
about that for Charlie Kirk's assassination?
Great question.
Are you telling me they don't have them?
I don't know, maybe
I'd like to.
Utah doesn't.
Wouldn't that be interesting, Corey? And I agree with you. Why is someone not demanding that?
Never thought of it. I didn't, but Corey did, so that's a great question.
Corey's always a step ahead of us.
I know it, she is. But that is a good question, and maybe somebody should, during one of Candace Owens' lives, can you? I don't always make it into her lives. Can you ask questions during the lives?
You can live chat. There's a live chat, but she really can't read them. There's thousands every episode, but there is a tips line, and if you are a subscriber and you tip her, she reads those at the end. Actually, at the end of the next day. So there could be a campaign to get her to pay attention and ask about the flock cameras. So were there any flock cameras? And maybe if somebody is listening and they feel like investigating and seeing if there's flock cameras there, let's see if anybody else wants to put some stuff together and ask them, where's the data from the flock
and they
cameras?
picked up enough data of Tyler Robinson running around town with broken down weapons and.
Well, there is a website that you can go to, and you can see where current flock cameras are. So maybe I'll have to go to that website and just kind of peek at that area.
Take a look.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great idea. Never thought of that one.
So Corey, you missed the beginning of the show, so just so you know, we're just it's kind of open mic. Whatever anybody wants to talk about, if they just raise their hand, we may not know a lot of the details about things that you want to talk about, but it's open mic night, and really anything is on the table tonight.
Yeah, something you saw, something that's bothering you, something you want to point out is, hey, I noticed this and seen that. Like I said, the Dearborn, Michigan, we watched a little bit of the council meeting, and I thought it looked kind of suspicious, like it was fake or something. But
And
they're watching Corey right now.
they are.
All right, Wetzel.
They're tracking Corey through town. Well, Red, and one of those things that I saw that I thought I'd bring up tonight, Red, was we saw what happened in Green Bay again in the fall primary when I believe it was 152 ballots duplicate ballots were sent out, absentee ballots, and
Celeste Jeffries resigned.
Okay, I'm gonna chime in again. That was the spring election. The fall election, they have not given us a definitive number of ballots that were duplicate sent. The spring election had 152.
I stand corrected, and thank you and I did know that, Corey, so I just misspoke. Thank you for pointing that out. So we don't know the number that was sent out for the fall election, but
and that's the curious part. Why not?
Right, absolutely. And like Red said, Celestine Jeffries has since resigned her position. But I did see, and I'm not sure when this came up, and it at some point in the last week, I'm guessing, but I just saw it today that the city of Green Bay, their way of addressing this to ensure that it doesn't happen again is they are adding a multi-person approval process so that no single employee can reprint ballot labels, because that's was the excuse, was that somehow uh, Celestine Jeffries hit the print button and then hit the print button again. And we don't know how many times, like Corey said, how many times that reprint
So
ballot.
if we get multiple ballots again, then we got more than one person to blame.
We got, yes.
Is that the point there? But my question is, they say, well, you can only have one ballot going through the machine to be counted. How many were actually counted? That's my question.
And I don't know what safeguards were in place to prevent that from happening before, but uh,
Obviously not enough.
no, clearly not enough. But I, for anybody that's listening who understands now that Green Bay has a system of checks and balances in, does that pacify you? Does that
No.
make you? Red says absolutely not.
No, because to me that's just a band-aid, first of all. And they're just trying to, um, like you said, pacify, make people think, oh, well, see, they just took one step in the right direction, and now all of a sudden our elections are safe and secure. Nope, don't believe it. Still won't believe it. Why? Because we're still using machines.
Nope. And I'm gonna now. I didn't print this article off, and I'm gonna bring it up because you just mentioned election integrity, Red.
All right.
So I don't think you saw it. Now I know what's wrong. You got that darn thing flipped the wrong way. I'm trying to figure out why your cord is coming off the top of your ear. All right, now I figured that one out. That dilemma is solved in my head.
Yeah, because I
Uh,
can't hear you otherwise.
so my concern is, we hear that, people are catching on. People are understanding now that our elections are not secure, and I don't think. See, I think some people think that more and more people understand that we don't have safe elections. I still believe that there are a lot of people who are in the dark or in denial or whatever.
Well,
A lot of people.
I still see the articles talking about, well, this person is an election denier. This person's an election denier.
Which brings up my point, because
Yep.
today PBS put out an article, and actually it included, and I recognize, Catherine B, that you have your hand up. Just give me 1 second to finish this thought. PBS put out an article today that centered around two races up north, Scott Harbridge and Angie Sapek.
Yep.
And the article, I should have printed it off and
Yeah.
read it in its entirety, because
You
it really pissed me off. Red.
You and me both.
The article talked about how Scott Harbridge is an election denier, and how the article basically said two election deniers
So in other words,
lost
that's
their
probably
lost their
why
lost
they
their,
lost,
lost
just
their
because they're
election, because
election
that's
deniers.
their platform. And it went on to say that Scott Harbridge was endorsed by another election denier, uh, Mike Lindell.
Yep.
And how he was endorsed by General Flynn.
Yep.
And all these
Janelle
people
Branchen
who are connected to
and Tim
Trump.
Rantham.
And
And they're all election deniers. So therefore,
Dr.
because
Franks.
yep, Dr. Franks.
Dr. Franks.
they and this article just hammered on the fact. Now, it wasn't, were the votes counted accurately
Mm-hmm.
in the Northwoods.
Right.
It wasn't any of that. It
Nope.
was, nope, the election deniers lost their bids for these seats.
Yeah, because they're election deniers.
And
That's the way the article
it
made it sound.
It drove me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
As I read that article, I think I threw up in my throat at one point.
You did.
Catherine B, go ahead. You have the floor.
Well, one of the things that occurred to me when Corey was talking, so Corey, I don't know how much of the observing you've been doing at Green Bay, if you've been going election day or anything in addition to that. But I encourage you to start sending your notes or major things that happen in that voting district to the committees of the legislature that deal with elections. Both mainly, right now, mainly, I know one of the ones that's paying attention is Maxie. So, but I would send it to anybody, even the Democrats. Send them notes on what you experience. And I encourage anybody who's observing and sees anything that is of concern for sure that they know about, to start bombarding the legislatures on those committees. Because one of my pet peeves is that most of them do not work the elections. And they're the ones making the rules, the laws, and doing all that stuff. And most of the time, you guys have gone enough to the hearings that you see that they listen to the clerks. And they don't ask the citizens that do the rest of the work what their opinion about rules and stuff are. And we are being ruled to death now by WEC, by the way. So, and I don't think it's going to get any better. Because they put out new observer rules this time. So I've got lots of notes, obviously, because of what happened in Milwaukee, and that's what I'm still working on them.
Oh, I bet.
So you will be sending notes to legislative committees.
Well, I'm also sending notes now to, I'm starting to work along with some other people with Jenna Banfield from RNC. I'm not sure how they're doing these positions anymore. She's still Wisconsin, but she's also national RNC. So anyway, I'm sharing notes with them, and I'm sharing some with some other people that we know, whose first name starts with a P.
Mm-hmm.
And I am branching myself out, which I need to do like a hole in the head. But like after the election, I heard about canvassing, and I've never heard what canvassing for central count is like. So I assumed it was like the other canvassing, which is they go over all the results and all the notes and the EL 104s and the mistakes and try to figure out if there's any issues they need to solve before the results are done. Well, canvassing for central count was getting their own election commission together, which is 3 members, and Paulina going over the provisional ballot. There was one provisional, 12, I take it back, 12 provisionals, but only one was accepted. And then they had a couple of late minuses, corrections to the thing. One was, I think, a military ballot. So they ended up with a -1 on the Democrat side for a bunch of the races. I don't know which people. I couldn't always hear everything. So I'm like the only one in the audience, and I'm sure they thought, so Channel 4 was there, and I'll bet you my life on it that they thought I asked them to come.
Probably.
So I've got to straighten that out because I did not, but I did talk to them for a few minutes. She wanted my contact info and she wanted to interview me. And I said, nope, sorry. I'm not going to ruin my relationship right now with these guys. So, and I still got November. So no, I'm not talking to anybody. But anyway, so that canvassing was nothing. It was the 3 commissioners meeting, her going over that minor stuff and the numbers after they did the provisionals and stuff. And then they just voted. The Republican commission member tried to bring up what I told him 0 reports, and he didn't say that. He said the final reports for the election, were they done? And I'm like slapping my head practically in the audience. So there's so many things that I have to bring up. It's ridiculous. Most of it's just procedure. So I don't know. Corey, do you do are you there when they shut down at the central count in Green Bay?
I've been there for 2 end of night when they read off like an auction, all the numbers from every race. But
This central count?
central count.
They don't, so Milwaukee doesn't tell us any end numbers. That's interesting.
All right, I'm going to interrupt you because we do have to jump into a break very quickly here.
Okay.
There we go, Red. We got some music on. All right, so Red, next week, a week from tonight,
from tonight.
We're taking the show on the road. We're going to be at the Holiday Inn in Manitowoc, Wisconsin on Calumet. This is the Manitowoc County Patriots are holding their monthly meeting. It's the America 250 potluck, actually.
Yes.
And
so you can bring something if you'd like.
And their very special guest is none other than Harry Wade.
Yeah.
And Harry's taking his story on the road and talking to groups that want to hear it and learn more about it. So we're inviting all of you to come and join Manitowoc County Patriots as they welcome Harry Wade to Manitowoc, Wisconsin. This will be his first trip to Manitowoc to speak about everything that happened. And then
live,
and
so
then
you
some.
can, during the Q&A, if anybody, has any questions,
That goes.
by all means.
It starts at 6 p.m. There's going to be like a half hour of socializing, and then the meeting, or Harry will kick off. I'm sure Braden will address those in attendance, and then Harry will introduce Harry, and Harry will tell it like it is, and then open it up for some Q&A, and you can come and hang out with us. If you're in Northeast Wisconsin, we want you to come and be there live.
Well, you don't have to be just from Northeast.
Wherever.
Anywhere. Because then you can come and enjoy the fellowship, the food, bring a dish of passion if you'd like.
We'd love for you to come and join us, and
Maybe I can talk to Mr. Screecho and making his cupcakes for everybody again.
or maybe not.
Oh,
We'll see. And that goes from about 6 to 8. So we're going to be live that night. We could go a little bit long. Who knows?
Yep.
I don't know at what point they're going to kick us out of there. But if you're listening virtually and you have a question for Harry, we will be able to present your question to Harry, and he'll answer it while we're live. It's going to be a good night.
it's going to be a great night.
I'm hoping for a really good turnout. So you'll see scrolling along the bottom of the screen, the Manitowoc County Patriots are asking that you RSVP so they can get a head count.
And just because we're going to have, the live show that night doesn't excuse you from not being there. It's always great to be there in person. And there's some people that are so looking forward to meeting Harry for the first time.
So if you can't don't have anything to write down how you RSVP, I've shared it on social media. Otherwise, go to the Manitowoc County Patriot Facebook page, and you'll see a QR code that will take you right there, and you can RSVP. But please come and join us. It's going to be a good night.
Absolutely. We would love to have a crowd on the show too.
Absolutely. So that
be live on the show.
that the people listening in Hawaii, your friend in Hawaii, she can hear the applause live.
Exactly.
Anyway, so that's coming up next week, a week from tonight. And then
at the Holiday Inn just off of Highway 43 on Calumet Avenue. You
cannot miss it. And then very quickly, we can't end this break without talking about the second annual Liberty Summit, which takes place September 25th and 26th in Rothschild, Wisconsin.
Rothschild. You did it again?
Did it again. Rothschild, Wisconsin, up by Wausau at the Holiday Inn. A nice lineup of speakers. Friday night, it's a social event. There is going to be some karaoke, I'm told.
On Friday night.
And if it's a sellout, I promise to perform karaoke.
Yeah, that ought to be interesting.
That will be a trip.
Who knows? Maybe you'll do a duet that night with Ralph.
That alone should entice you to register for the Liberty Summit.
And you might want to. I mean, the speakers are going to be amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Saturday.
But Mr. Screecho Scott is the MC, and he's got some little tricks up his sleeve for the day too.
I do.
So you don't want to miss that either.
It's going to be a good day, all in all. Great lineup of speakers. Saturday will go from 9 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night.
At least.
And with some breaks, there's two different packages you can buy. You can buy just the daytime package, which
covers the lunch,
the box lunch.
Yep.
And the daytime speakers, and then the other package includes the dinner, which was a very good dinner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With limited lemon bars. And
watch your hands.
And then the keynote speaker of course,
Is
after dinner.
included in the VIP. Yes.
And if you get a table of 8, you save $25 a head.
Yes.
Right, Red?
Right.
And to register, registration is open.
Yes.
Spaces are
And
filling,
rooms are going
and rooms
fast
are
too,
going
as
fast.
well.
So book your room if you want to
It's in the same
register.
link.
It's
hotgovernment.com/summit.
there we go.
And he's lipping and mocking me.
That will be very simple. hotgovernment.com/summit, and you can register to attend the second annual Liberty Summit.
Yes, and I will run and grab the speakers for when we close out the show
We'll see.
because I forgot it over on my desk.
Well, look at that. All right. Well, let's jump back into the second half here.
Well, Catherine was, I don't know if Catherine had anything to add.
I did interrupt her.
Correct.
No, that's okay. Corey and I have been chatting, so I
Okay,
think
awesome.
I
Well,
got an answer.
if there's anything the two of you need to share with the world, let us know.
Okay.
So Red, I don't know if you're aware of it, but we have a measles outbreak in Wisconsin. 36 confirmed cases of the measles. Oh my, that's big news. I don't
My
know
guess
what's
is they're
coming.
freckles.
I don't know, Red.
I'm just kidding.
And I do want to talk. I have to talk about the state fair, Red.
Oh,
I have
yes.
to briefly.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
sure that
yes.
most of our listeners saw what happened at the state fair on the closing night of the state fair. There were several young people trying to enter one of the gates without tickets. The scanner was going off like crazy. Now I was listening to some of it that night, and they were talking about some of the neighboring businesses near the state fair where they were trying to close and people were trying to get in. I haven't been able to verify that, but there were fights that took place inside state fair. I believe the number that I have was 7 arrests have been made, and these were mainly young people. And when I say young, I saw a video, Red, and that one young
Kinda like
man in that video,
teenagers.
that one young man looked like he was 14 years old.
Exactly. And, I know we had seen actually, we watch a lot of crime TV, and we watched an old video of some people um, stealing cars from that car lot, and they turned out to be all teenagers. But these teenagers seem to think that, well, I'm a teenager, so you can't arrest me or you can't charge me. So I wonder if these teenagers at the state fair
Well,
thought the same
I don't
thing.
know. I couldn't find any verification that it was gang related, but to me, it almost appeared that way.
Right.
Uh,
By the one video that we watched, yeah, that's what it looked like.
and I'm
But
sorry, but
no,
just
can't
uh,
confirm.
it was terrifying for people who were there just to enjoy a cream puff, maybe go on some rides,
Or funnel
and
cake.
or a funnel cake.
Yeah, because I want my funnel cake.
And these fights broke out right there in front of people. I don't know if any innocent people were hurt. They seem to be very
I don't
targeted.
know.
The attacks seem to be very targeted. But this happened in Milwaukee County, and this is the reason I want to bring it up, right? I mean, it's tragic that it had to happen at all.
Right.
But we know that Milwaukee County is a hot mess.
Oh, that's an understatement to
It
say the
it
least.
it is a hot mess. Whether we're talking about the schools, whether we're talking about crime, it's a hot mess. And this, of course, is the county that Crowley is the county executive in.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Democratic gubernatorial candidate.
Right.
Uh, I did learn something today. My initial thought was, okay, well, this is his county. Why didn't law enforcement intervene and stop this quicker than what it did? And I did learn today that the Wisconsin State Fair has its own police department that is run outside of Crowley's office. Uh, what is that noise? You
I
picking
don't
that
know.
up?
No,
Uh,
I am
but
picking it up. But I
the
don't know
reason
what it is.
and I'm going to put this question out there. So, of course, Crowley is running for governor on the Democratic side, and when this happened, Tom Tiffany, who is the Republican candidate for governor here in Wisconsin, they they quickly put something out, talking about the fact that this is what we can expect from Wisconsin,
Exactly.
because of the fact that this is the way Milwaukee is, and one of the questions I have is it fair to hold Crowley politically accountable for violence occurring within Milwaukee County when the specific venue has its own police department? And if anybody's got some thoughts on that, I do see that Wisconsin Annie has her hand raised. Go ahead, Wisconsin Annie, you have the floor.
Hey, greetings and blessings, everyone. Okay, so I put a link in the chat for the Wisconsin Blue Book. When you go online, it doesn't have the information I was looking for. So look for a hard copy of this book. It comes out every 2 years. But towards the back, you will find a section that talks about local government and how many tax districts, sanitarian districts, lake districts, etc. Wisconsin is unique because it has 3 sports districts. There are 2 in Milwaukee and 1 in Green Bay. So, what you're talking about tonight with this Crowley guy, he's a Milwaukee executive. So, he's one of the big players. He sits on the board for the Milwaukee Sports. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact name. But there's big money involved here and trafficking. And I know you guys probably get tired of me saying this, but our so-called selections are all around sex trafficking and child trafficking. And Wisconsin is a huge satanic stronghold. It's being broken up as we speak. You'll see my little my comments in the chat there is to draw attention to the people that I think are not on the good side. But the elections process, it's all fraud. There's absolutely nothing legitimate about our election system, period. And we're taking so much of our energy and putting it into campaigning and backing what we think is going to be the lesser of the two evils candidates and all that happy shit. I do have a lot to say, and I'll try to watch. I'll try to watch my time limit here, but the Milwaukee Bucks and I think it's Panthers, and then up in Green Bay, of course, the Green Bay Packers, and there's a history on that. If you actually go back and you look at how the Green Bay Packers got their name, it will be astounding. Okay, there's tanners. They take the hides of the animals that they harvest and they make, they make things from them. And remember that Jeffrey Dahmer also comes from Wisconsin. And, there's a lot of things that we do not want to think about because they're so horrendous. And people, we want to be happy. Okay, we should be happy. This is why we're here. Happy, happy, joy, joy. But we have these demonic entities that we have to shush out of our lives. Okay, so the sooner that we can get away from this election, fraud, banking, cartel, politician, sex, child trafficking bullshit,
Okay,
the sooner
we do
you
have to
can
watch.
actually
We do have
realize
to.
who you are.
Annie, I'm gonna cut you off. We do have to watch our language. We are live on the air, and we do watch our language. But
Okay.
I agree
I
with much of
touched
what
Chad. I'm sorry.
I do agree with much of what you said, and we talk about fraudulent elections all the time on the Rip and Rabbit Hole, and I do see Tim Rampton has his hand raised. Tim, go ahead and jump in.
Well, I need to touch on the comment that Wisconsin Annie just hit regarding the sex trafficking element. For anybody who hasn't seen the RPW convention video of me from 2022 in my gubernatorial run, it was one of the top 10 items I mentioned that needed to be addressed. sex trafficking in our state. We're leading the nation in the routes and avenues of how that injustice is being levied upon our citizens. And the reason I want to poke it right now on this show is to call out the fact that even enlightening the public to that issue 4 years ago, along with high spending and high taxation and the public school funding element that has not been addressed in our state, which continues to burden the taxpayers, as well as prevent efficiencies in public schools. Nothing has been done. Nothing.
Not, I agree, Tim. Nothing has
And
been done.
and the people in seats now, including representatives for in the House at the federal level, there's 8 of them in our state. 6 of them are Republicans, 2 of them are Democrats. We have 1 Republican senator, we have 1 Republican and 1 Democrat senator. So those are the 10 federal congressional people supporting our state, working for us in our state. They haven't done anything either, which includes the individual running for governor now this year. And all of the legislature hasn't done anything either. These are the types of things that irritate me to the core. And I don't know why more people are not offended by the lack of results in issues like this that have been kicked down the road yet again. In fact, I think what they do is they use it for campaign fodder to point fingers and leverage and blow smoke to get donations to put the same people in the seats who have done nothing the previous 2 years or 4. So I just wanted to speak at that real quick. Bottom line, they can throw up anything they can. The Dems will throw stuff toward the Republicans. The Republican will throw stuff toward the Dems. And you know what? At the end of the day, very little, if anything, gets done by either one of them. What we really need to focus on is character in our candidates running for public office. Thank you for your time.
I agree, Tim. And you know what I think we need to do, Tim? I think when we know that you're going to be backstage, I'd like to play your convention speech from 4
Absolutely.
years ago, because I saw that PBS article today where they labeled you the election denier and nothing beyond that. That's what Tim Rampton is in their eyes, and it pissed me off because you had done so many good things for the people of this state, or tried to do things. Maybe you were held up by the legislature or governors, but you introduced so much, Tim, and you brought so much to the table. And that's how they labeled you in this article 4 years later. And maybe we need to play your convention speech from 4 years ago and break it down and say, okay, what items from Tim's speech have been addressed? And I would dare to bet 0. And Tim, you know your speech better than I do, but and you can speak on that, but I would dare to bet nothing has been addressed
Absolutely.
that you spoke about at the convention in 22.
22. Yeah. A real quick comment to this article. You mentioned it before, and I perked my ears up. I have not heard of that or seen it yet, but I would like to have it sent to me because I'll take an action on it.
I will send it to you right after this show when we get off the air. Because
Thank you.
it was actually shared on Facebook by the other candidate's wife up north that you know. So you might be able to find it as quick as I can send it to you. But I will definitely send it to you because it really bothered me that your name came up as just that. And there's so much more to Tim Rampton than what they're reporting, and it just bothers me that we have media still labeling you that way.
Exactly.
Well,
Not-
they're the fraud deniers. And one other comment, and then I promise I'll stop because others should speak. But you touch on another point of concern regarding the elections process. Excuse me, the selections process.
Mhm.
You know, there's issues with the mechanics, right? Ballot chain of custody, machines, voter lists. That's all broken already. The other part of the problem is the psychological operation, the attack, the smear, the gaslighting, the character assassination that goes out, whether it be hit pieces or articles like this from the media. And people read this crap and they believe it. There's no verification or authentication or confirmation of the accusation. It's all taken, the hearsay is taken and believed. And then what do? They vote for the other person because they don't want what they read about to be elected, when actually the solution to the problem is the very person that they're attacking is the one you should vote for, because they're attacking him for a reason, and they have to prevent the status quo from being lost. And it's a long conversation, but you guys got it. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. And I heard during the primary part of the election, a lot of people coming down on us for speaking certain ways against our own party. Well, you know, do they think that the Democrats aren't going to find everything that we're already talking about? Do you think that they haven't already had it in their back pocket for
Well,
whichever candidate,
well,
w-
and
quote unquote, selected one, whatever you want to
and
call it?
here's the other thing, Red. We started the show talking about Codex 9/11 that we watched at um, because of Harry Waite,
Yes.
suggesting that we watch it. And for anybody who thinks that this is about D's and R's and we should vote R, we should vote D. I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on.
Absolutely.
Watch
Watch
that
that movie.
documentary, and
Yep.
you'll learn in a hurry
It
that
ain't R or D.
that corrupt is corrupt, whether it's R or D.
Because both of them work together to create 9/11.
And
Face it.
you know, Tim,
It's not a right or left thing. And I have been screaming at the top of my lungs for the last 3 years. Read the article, Substack, whatever, President King. It says it all in there as well. And it says the primary is the most stolen election because they have to make it appear like
we have the
you
choice.
have a choice.
Exactly.
Because they get their person on both sides, one with an R, one with a D, and they know that they're set for the general election, and it doesn't matter.
And Tim, how many times, Red, have we talked to Tim where he talks about character of the candidate,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what is sorely lacking.
Oh yeah.
Up and down. I mean, and then when we do find candidates with character like Scott Harbridge, someone who's ready to go down there and stand up to the corruption,
Mm-hmm.
and
Somebody strong enough to do that.
bury
Yes.
the guy with dark money, and we've seen it happen to Tim Rampton. We've seen it happen to a bunch of patriots in 22 or 24 rather,
24.
and it continues to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened in the Racine County Sheriff's race.
Oh yeah.
You
Look at that one.
you had Henry Perez going up against Kerry Madrigal, who Hot has exposed so much about this woman.
Well,
And
what they probably did was they gave the left all the fuel, because I seen an article today coming out about well, actually the left has filed an ethics complaint about Madrigal and her financials.
but
So,
Hot exposed so much and put it all out there for the people of Racine County to see.
mm-hmm.
And some of this falls back on the lap of the voters. And
Absolutely.
we've had this discussion,
Yep.
and I'm gonna say what it is. It's stupidity.
Yep.
It's people
You can't
who
fix stupid.
won't get off the couch, shut off the TV long enough to do their own research, and they
Yep.
buy all the garbage that's sent to their home
In
in
the
the form
mail.
of a
Yep.
mailer. They don't look at anything that groups like Hot are putting out
No.
that spell everything out, and they back it all up with
Facts.
like
Solid
hard
facts.
evidence.
Look at the evidence,
Uh,
and they always back it up with their evidence. They
they
will not put it out there unless they can prove what they're saying.
they go through the trouble with the getting the information, the freedom, what is it called?
Freedom of Information Act.
Yes, and
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, there we
But
go.
it's not.
And
Oh yeah.
getting
In Wisconsin.
getting the actual evidence supporting the allegations that they make, and people still vote these people through. I
Oh. In
What?
Wisconsin, Annie, go ahead. You have your hand up.
And
Yes,
we're real
thank
short on
you.
time. We're almost up against the hour, Annie. So go ahead.
Okay, so the voting is fraud, the election system is fraud, it's all fraud, 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 fraud. We need the truth. Okay, so the truth comes from within. The courts are closed, we're under martial law. So there's nothing judicial that is going to happen if you think you're taking a case into these kangaroo courts. They all are operating as for profit corporations. The judges actually rule their courtroom. It's their courtroom. And you can look at this by the flag. Okay. If the flag has a golden fringe around it, that means that they are at war with the people. So walk into your county courtroom. Don't ask your clerk of court is the port authority. Okay, they're there to take the money. Okay, there's nothing legitimate about the system that you guys are talking about. You're wasting so much time and energy right now thinking that you're going to put money and time into your next candidate. They can't change anything. Tom Tiffany, he's sponsored by Tommy Thompson. Tommy Thompson is one of the funders of the H1N1, the virus, back in Milwaukee County health system back in the early 2000s. Tommy Thompson is a eugenicist. And you're talking on the same level as Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates. Okay, that's Tommy Thompson. So Tiffany, the alleged Republican, that's who's funding him. Okay, we have this illusion that we have a choice. We don't. It's
That's what I
all
said
frauds.
earlier.
Just wake up, people. Love, peace, neutrality. I know you got to end the show, but wake up.
Well, and
Wisconsin needs to wake
that's what our
up.
shows have been trying to do, is to wake people up.
So Annie, I want to thank you for your input, and we brought a little of Tin Hat Thursday into
Yep,
our
we
Wednesday
did.
night program tonight, because some people are going to hear things that Wisconsin Annie said, and there's somebody out there going,
What?
she's nuts,
Yeah,
because
but
we
that's
hear it
what.
all the time, Red.
Yep.
But
But that's why we try to keep educating people and on these shows
so I do
by
want
letting them know.
I do want to thank you for your input, Annie, and come back on a Tin Hat Thursday when we can really go off the
What they
because
call the deep end,
yeah,
or that's what my mom
right,
calls
and
it anyway. But
I do want to point out, because very quickly, Red, and I know the music's going to start playing. A couple weeks ago, Tony Fauci sat in a congressional hearing, kept pleading the fifth over
Mhm.
and over and over again, and I have it here somewhere, the guy's name, because I forgot it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Former Fauci advisor pleads guilty over concealed COVID records. Dr. David Morans, a former senior advisor at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, pleaded guilty to conspiring to evade public record laws. Prosecutors said he used personal email and helped conceal communications related to coronavirus research grants and the pandemic's origins. He faces up to 5 years in prison.
Mhm.
And it's so maddening, because Joe Biden gave this man a pardon so he can sit there and plead the fifth. He'll never see
Which legally he cannot do.
he'll
But
never
he did it.
he'll never see a day in jail.
Oops.
But now people who work for him,
But will
you
he?
know,
He
are
will.
this guy's like 80 years old or 78 years old. He's going to spend 5 years in prison supposedly, or faces up to 5 years in prison. But some of this is being exposed. I just wonder, will it ever be enough? Because look at Red,
It will.
and we started the show talking about
Codex.
Codex 9/11. It happened 25 years ago, and
Mhm.
there are still people who believe it happened the way they were told it happened, and that passports landed on a pile of
Rubble
rubble
in
and
perfect
ash
condition.
in perfect condition, so they were able to identify the hijackers. And there are still people out there who believe that garbage that we were fed.
Mhm.
And it makes me wonder, Red, when everything surfaces about COVID and the number of deaths that people like Fauci are responsible for, will the idiots who are sitting on their couch right now watching Family Feud or some other program, will they ever understand what happened?
No, they won't.
And
They choose to live their comfy lives and ignore the obvious,
and all the
because we've educated them so much over the last how many years. And
and
and even if I talk, like I said earlier, I do jewelry as well, and that's my like little escape from all of this stuff. And I tell you, it's really hard to switch gears and not talk about politics.
And
And next thing I know, people are asked, "Well, what's your podcast about?" And I said, "Well, most of it's political, showing the corruption." Oh, well,
so they won't
never mind.
so they won't be stopping in
Yeah, because
because
they're like, "I got to check out your podcast." Oh, never mind. So that's what I mean. They want to live their comfortable lives
and,
instead of seeing
and
the truth of what's going on.
and in the meantime, communities are putting in their cameras and they're tracking our every movement. Data centers popping up all over the place, and it's becoming harder and harder. Well, I guess in some cases it's becoming easier for the community to push back a little bit, but uh, all this is happening right beneath our feet.
Hmm.
And those of us that are awake, we try and wake people up to what's going on.
Because the
But
next step with those flock cameras are the 15-minute
but
cities. That's why you got to have all these data centers.
the sheep just fall
Well,
in line
amongst other things.
and they do as they're told. And I have this fear, Red, that even if we're ever able to implement paper only, hand count,
One day,
one
in
day
person.
with ID, if we're ever able to implement that, will it really change? Unless we change a whole bunch of stuff, because as
Yep.
long as they're getting the mailers, then the people of character that Tim Rampton talks about
Hmm.
will never be elected. And we've got our work cut out for us, Red. But
Absolutely,
we've
we
got
do.
we've got another week to talk about it because time is up for tonight.
So next week, we'll be live from the Holiday Inn, just off of Highway 43.
In Manitowoc, that's the Manitowoc County Patriots. Go to their Facebook page, RSVP. Harry Waite will be there live, folks. And if you've never heard Harry speak, Harry will tell it like it is. He won't sugarcoat anything.
Nope.
And he'll make himself available for a short Q&A when the event is done.
And not all of it will be on the air. It'll be in person. He's not. If you're going to be in the backstage watching, we'll take some Q&A. But he's going to be, when he starts speaking and taking Q&A, he may speak with people one-on-one, and that won't be shown.
Oh no! At some point we'll go off air, or maybe even I'll. But in any event, we're going to be live at the Holiday Inn. Tip my hat to the Manitowoc County Patriots for bringing Harry to East Central Wisconsin and the Lake Shore here in Manitowoc. So, folks, RSVP, and we'll see you next Wednesday night.
Bring a district pass if you would like. Not required.
But they are asking you to RSVP, so they have a head count. So let's do that. Everybody go out. And then when you're done RSVPing for that event, then register for the Liberty Summit.
At hotgovernment.com/summit. And some of the speakers, I promise to say, just a handful of speakers. Peter Berniger is going to be speaking twice that day. Once on flat cameras, actually. And then you have our very own KJ Olson is going to be speaking as well.
Okay.
And he may do some
Senator Chris Topanga will be speaking, and Eastman.
We the people will say, shout what's real. Screech owls watching. Red's got the wheel.
We'll be back tomorrow night with Gideon.
Flags wave in the static air. Freedom's crackling everywhere. Every voice matters. Every voice dares. Dares.
And the party will continue in the backstage for a little bit. So if you're on Rumble or YouTube, you want to join the conversation, hop on over. It's open 24/7.
Links are in the chat.
All right, we're going to stop wasting people's time, Red, because...
We have a republic to save.
All right, have a good night, folks.